Welcome back. Eating for heart health is as much about what you do eat as it is about limiting certain foods and ingredients. We're going to talk now about what heart-healthy plates look like. What are some of the best superfoods, if you will, to include on a heart-healthy plate?
Well, we're going to build one right now.
Okay.
So the starting place here, this beautiful pink, fatty salmon. So why do we love salmon? Because of the fat content. Salmon has a much higher fatty acid content. The fatty acids I'm referring to are called essential fats. These are omega-3 fatty acids that really indicates where the carbon chain length. And what's interesting about humans is we cannot actually take long fatty acids, cut them down to threes. We have to get these threes in our diet. That's why they're called essential. What we know about essential fatty acids, omega-3s, is they have a potent impact on cardiac health. So eating foods that have a very high amount of omega-3s per gram, such as fatty salmon, is a perfect starter, protein-rich, fabulous, satiating for your heart-healthy plate.
What's the difference between farmed versus wild? Should you be sticking with one over the other, and is one not healthy?
You know, it's an interesting question. There are some differences, subtle differences potentially in the nutrients. This isn't something that's been studied broadly. What I would say is it's better to eat fish than to choose to eat something in its place, like a processed food or a quick frozen meal. If you're choosing to eat farmed fish, there isn't really any evidence that it's bad for us. I think wild fish probably has some other interesting compounds in it just because it isn't farmed. It really depends on the farming practices, where the fish swims, how it's developed. So it's a bit of a complicated question, but I think it's getting fish twice a week is probably much better for you than worrying about whether it's farmed or wild and not eating any fish
And ultimately better than a Big Mac. Okay,
Yes.
So what about nuts?
So nuts. We did already talk about walnuts. I'm just going to do a little demo here. Normally, you could crush these up. You could actually add some pesto to it. But nuts are potent heart health. Again, fatty acids, but these are the polyunsaturated fatty acids. So we're actually going through all the different healthy fats that we need to support heart health.
And we want to eat nuts every day.
Every day. Every day. Actually, if you can do like a handful of nuts every day, something like that, for most people,
and all
fine.
of them cashews, peanuts?
Yeah, they all have different qualities. These are the king and queen of nuts right here. So walnuts in particular, I realize you probably wouldn't do this, but let's pretend there's just a little crushed walnut pesto that we're adding to our salmon. Walnuts have a really supreme impact on cardiac health.
Got it.
Okay.
So and next we've got whole grains.
We've got whole grains. Sorry to get my plate in the shot there.
A couple different options here.
A few different options. So here we're showing dried barley, and why barley, not rice? Barley is an excellent source of soluble fiber. So if you look at the cooked consistency, it is a lot like rice. But it's actually fluffier and puffier, and this is because it holds much more soluble fiber than rice, and this is excellent for cholesterol. What we know is obviously inflammation links to cholesterol collecting in our arteries. Arteries being clogged, we have problems with our heart. So barley is a wonderful food to add to your plate, about a quarter of the plate. You're gonna have this whole grain. It's a whole intact grain. The seed coat is still on there. We love that. And it's gonna give you a really nice dose of soluble fiber.
And how does it make you feel? Full?
It's fabulous. It's very light. It's got a wonderful flavor. And what I find a lot of people do is they don't put the whole grains on their plate. We have tons and tons of data points that show us that whole grains as part of the Mediterranean diet, whole grains as part of a diet are very beneficial for heart health.
It's so true. Everyone just thinks vegetables and protein.
They want to cut the carbs, and that's a mistake. You're not going to be full at the end of your meal. You're going to be craving something, and then you're going down the wrong path. Barley on your plate. We also have some steel cut oats. You probably wouldn't have that with salmon, but it's another example of an intact grain. We want to have these whole grains on our plate to support heart health.
Potentially for breakfast. Okay.
Yes.
Now let's add some color.
Now we're going to add color. So we've got avocado here. Perhaps, again, you would do like an avocado. Obviously, food styling is not in my future or past. But what we love about avocado, again, talking about those healthy fats. Healthy fats are crucial to heart health. Polyunsaturated fats. So when we talk about healthy fat, we've got omega-3 fatty acids essential. Avocado as a fruit is a source of this excellent polyunsaturated fat. And it's a source of that soluble fiber, again, very beneficial if you have high cholesterol levels. So the leafy greens are that vegetable. They're adding that dark, if this was a pile of cooked greens, what we're gonna try and do here is build half a plate of vegetables. So that's kind of the balance that we want, the balance point. We want half a plate of vegetables. We want to include those healthy fats. We have the polys here from nuts and avocado. We have a quarter of a plate that's our healthy, whole, intact grains. And then we've got our beautiful fatty fish here as our protein source.
Okay.
And so moving down,
The color orange.
The color orange. The color orange and green have very specific impact. Again, remember we talked a bit about color in food and why it's so important. So orange vegetables, things like sweet potatoes we have here, carrots, even orange peppers, that beta carotene, what brings that beautiful orange color, is adding tons of nutrition and benefit to how the endothelial cells in the veins function, how easily blood can flow. This is true as well of the green vegetables, helps with how blood can flow through our vessels. So it helps with combating hypertension, which many people are suffering with, and that is a huge risk factor when it comes to heart attack and stroke. So we want half our plate to have beautiful vegetables, and if we can, do a dark green and an orange vegetable at a meal.
And lastly,
but this is not even the least. This is the most. So we have olive oil, we have beautiful extra virgin olive oil. Why is that important? The extra virgin component means that it is the first press of the olive. You're getting all of the very first and most important antioxidant nutrients in olives. There are tons and tons of studies that show this is actually something that can help with lowering LDL, that bad cholesterol, and it is an antioxidant that helps cool the inflammation in the body. So we want to drink, if you can get 2 to 3 tablespoons in a day. It may sound like a lot, but what you're going to do is drizzle it on your food.
Before you know it, 2 to 3 tablespoons, just like that.
Yeah, you don't have to eat it like a medicine, but olive oil is really one of the key factors. And this is the monounsaturated fat. Monounsaturated fatty acid, we haven't talked about that yet. This is the real potent one that's going to have a big impact on heart health.
Amazing. Nishta, thank you. I mean, this is the thing. You see a lot of people associate healthy with bland. Obviously not the case.
It's not the case.
All right, stick around. We'll be right back.